there's a saying that everyone would like to live at the expense of the state, but few realize that the state lives at the expense of everyone else, right? So everyone wants a free lunch. Everyone wants something for nothing, right? This is notorious way in which politicians get reelected, right? They just promise free stuff, right? Of course, none of the stuff is actually free. It's all stolen through taxation or inflation and then, quote unquote, redistributed. Although that's not an accurate term either. It's just distributed. It's stolen and then distributed to someone else.
See, I don't even like the term stolen.
Okay.
I really don't. The moral philosopher in me just jumps up on the table when I hear people talking about stealing and, it's I've heard debasement is a tax. It's the silent tax.
Mm-hmm.
The bunch of politicians love to say that. They'd be like, debasement is the silent tax. It's like, it's not a tax. All right. You don't get a tax bill. You're not writing a check to the IRS.
Yeah.
Like you're not exchanging anything. You're not paying anything. Like, so just, it's not a tax.
Okay.
And they say,
because there's no visibility or traceability, you're saying.
I'm just saying, so a moral crime, Aquinas would talk about identifying moral crimes by their objects.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, what's being taken?
Mm-hmm.
If I murder somebody,
mm-hmm.
I am immorally taking their life.
Mm-hmm.
If I steal from you, I am immorally taking your property.
Right. Which are both life energy in a way, right?
Yeah. I mean, but the object. So the object of stealing is your property.
Yes.
Well, what's debasement?
Uh-huh.
Well, debasement is extracting your work, that value.
Yeah.
It's not really, it's not like a proper, like it's taking your purchasing power, but it's not the object. Like if I take $20 from your wallet, I stole $20 from you.
Yeah.
If I debase that money, I've extracted your work. I've extracted the value you put into that through, you created the value, you put it into that money, and I'm taking that from you. So it's like, that's slavery, so it's like, it's like a euphemism that's inappropriately directing you away from what's actually like, it's slavery.
Yeah.
Don't say anything else.
Right.
Like,
right. Okay.
oh, but that's crazy and blah, blah, blah. No, that's what it is.
Yeah. So I think we agree, but maybe just semantically have approached it differently. Because the way I've said this before is that I've defined slavery as anyone with a 100% effective tax rate, which is all of the fruits of someone's labor go to a tax authority or a slave master, which would be the same thing at 100%, right? And then someone that pays 0% tax, a 0% effective tax rate would be a sovereignist, right? The opposite of a slave, someone that's fully sovereign. Well, you want to know what percentage of a slave you are? Just tell me your effective tax rate, right? 35%, 45%, 15%, whatever it is. That's what percentage unfree you are. Another way to say this is like, okay, if you're paying a 25% effective tax rate, that means you work 12 months out of every year. 3 months of that work goes to the tax authority, right? That's you paying your slave dues, and the other 9 months you get to keep. So I theft, taxation, slavery, like these are all, theft and taxation are the same thing. So inflation, taxation, theft, these are all the same thing in my book. And then slavery would just be the ultimate version of that, right? If it's 100%, then that's absolute slavery. Anything less than that is just some percentage on the continuum, right? From free person to slave. So I don't know, we probably don't want to get wrapped up on the axis of semantics, but like, I think we agree conceptually, even though we may not be using the same terminology.
I'm just focused on the form, you know, so I'm not worried about the more or less or the degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to, the categories of belonging.
I see.
So it's like, you can, I'm not here to get into an oppression Olympics, where it's just like, who's being oppressed the most? Like I'm not about that.
Yeah.
I'm just, if we can't even just categorize what's happening, so like whether it's taxation or stealing or like that, to me, the coercive extraction of the value, that is what is the formal definition of slavery and why it needs to be called that.
Right. So would you say that inflation is worse than taxation because it lacks well, they both lack consent, which is weird. The only thing I would say inflation's worse because people don't know it. Like it's more illusory, right? That
I would
People
say
get
it's
taxed via inflation, and then Joe Biden blames the ice cream producers.
Yeah.
But when you get a tax bill, at least you know, oh, Uncle Sam sent me a tax bill.
Yeah. The debasement is significantly worse because, and this is also Aquinas talking about, so, well, what's the object that's being damaged? What's like, and it's stripping away your human dignity.
Yeah.
You know, so like you get a tax bill, you pay it, like the extent that it degrades your dignity as a human being, as a human object.
Right.
I don't think those are even comparable.
Right. I see. Yeah. Because at least you don't consent to pay tax, but you do voluntarily pay it. Right. This is the same as if someone mugs you in an alley at gunpoint, you voluntarily hand him your wallet. It's not consensual because you're under duress.
Yep.
Right. There's a subtle distinction between voluntary and consensual, but you do voluntarily hand it out. Involuntary is like when you have a heart attack, right?
It's coerced. There's force being involved.
Of course it's coerced, but I guess something can be coerced and voluntary is the point. Involuntary is more like if you have a heart attack or you have a seizure, right? These are involuntary things. So I would agree actually there that inflation is worse because it's not even voluntary, right? The people don't even know that they don't even know what's happening. Yeah. Which is by design, of course.
When the Fed injects $6 trillion into the economy, you wake up and you don't even know it.
Well, you know what's even more insidious about it is people often celebrate it because they get a check in the mail signed by Donald Trump or whoever. And they think, oh, this is great. We printed money. And it's like, wait a minute, you got a $3,800 check. Per household, whatever the number was, they printed $46,000 per U.S. household. What about the other $40,000? Oh, that was all stolen from you, basically. Or whatever. What word would you use? Extracted. Okay. So we'll go with extraction or expropriation. Expropriation.
Yep. Expropriation, appropriated, extraction.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, click here to find more just like it, and here to find our most recent episode. Also, make sure to like this video to help shine light on the corruption of money. And be sure to subscribe to this channel to stay connected.